The purpose of these lessons is to show you the logic behind the most basic Chinese characters, beginning with the simplest pictograms, and later combining these elements to create more complex characters. If you haven't watched Lesson 1, I would recommend that you do so. Keep in mind that these are not conversation lessons. I am merely arranging Chinese characters into groups with a common component, so that they are easier to memorize in case you are attempting to learn this language. And, by knowing the origin of a character, it's often very helpful in understanding its various connotations today. Today's lesson is a group of characters related to the 4 cardinal points: north, south, east, west, and center. Let's first take a look at my illustration of a Chinese village in ancient times. According to the author Shen Kai, in his major work on auricle bone inscriptions, Chinese villages were historically laid out along this plan, with most structures built with their backs to the north, facing south. Items for communal use were stored in 2 locations. Those tools and items for daily use were stored in open baskets inside sheds located on the west side, while long-term storage items were bound up and stowed in baskets on the east side of the village. The author, Shen Kai, says this is the origin of the 4 directions north, south, east, and west. The first character is a woven bamboo basket with 2 tied ends. Notice that the basket is bound at both ends, indicating it's for long-term storage of goods. This is the character for east. Pronounced first tone, dong, dong. This character has been mistakenly analyzed for centuries as the sun rising in the east, as seen from behind a tree. As a cultural aside, because the sun does rise in the eastern sky, east has long been considered by the Chinese to be the most important of the 4 cardinal points, listing them as east, west, south, north, or east, south, west, north. Whereas English speakers, and possibly other Westerners, would list them as north, south, east, west. Chinese always begin with east, dong, whose totem in Chinese astrology is the greatest of mythical creatures, the dragon. Dong is extended to refer to important people, such as the host at a formal dinner, as opposed to the guests, or the owner of a piece of property, as opposed to any renters. This also helps to explain why the Chinese will often jostle with each other in a restaurant, arguing vociferously for the honor of paying for everyone's meal. Chinese adults will very rarely split the cost of a dinner with friends, considering it a lost opportunity to have played the most important host. Now, back to today's lesson. Proponents of the sun behind a tree explanation for dong might want to take a look at another similar character, meaning to bind or to tie. It also appears to be a tree, but is actually a bundle of firewood tied together and it is pronounced 4th tone, shu, shu. With this character, we can make the expression for having one's hands tied, unable to act. Shu shou, shu shou. It can also be used as a measure word for flowers, as in a bouquet of flowers. The third character is the pictogram of another woven basket, but this one is open at one end to make it easy to find often used items. It was misconstrued as a bird's nest because birds naturally come to rest at sunset, so a bird figure was later added to reinforce that idea. This character is pronounced first tone, xi, xi, and unsurprisingly means west, the direction of the setting sun. The two characters for east and west are often used together in expressions meaning this and that, left and right, here and there, etc. An easy example would be dong kan, xi kan, looking here and there, such as when out shopping but not quite sure what we expect to find. The next character is the pictogram of a metal pan or gong suspended near the main entry to the village to summon the people in times of danger. The top three strokes are a reduced version of sheng, meaning to produce. In this case, produce sound. This sound-producing gong would traditionally be at the south side, which most structures would be facing. This pictogram of a gong is pronounced second tone, nan, nan, and today has no other meaning, only south and southern. Even today, Chinese people prefer to buy or rent houses and apartments with a southern exposure, which, due to the demand, are more expensive. If we add another character and say nan xia, it means to head down south by any means of transportation, bike, bus, train, or plane. The last cardinal point is north, which according to our village plan means the direction behind us, preferably a mountain or a hill. The origin of this character is two people back to back. Pronounced third tone, bei, bei. In some expressions, it also symbolizes defeat because you are running from battle with your back to the enemy. And in opposition to nanxia, to head down south, is the expression bei shang, meaning to go up north in the country you reside. The final character in today's lesson means the center or middle. And is pronounced first tone, zhong, zhong. Most people recognize it as the first character of the name for China, 中国, 中国, the Middle Kingdom. It's a depiction of a flag with banners flapping in the wind, but which are deleted in the final character. Zhong refers to the flag the king's emissary would ceremoniously plant in the center of a village to attract attention before announcing any proclamations by the king. Expressions using this character include Sino-Japanese, 中日, 中日, and a phrase meaning to suspend a contract, discontinue a discussion, interrupt a meeting, or break off negotiations. 终止, 终止, literally to stop in the middle. Equally useful is 中 in final position, indicating something currently in progress, expressed in English by an ing participle. For example, a road under construction, a machine awaiting repair, a video now playing, a shop open for business, and so on. Zhong is also a split sound character pronounced fourth tone, zhong, zhong, when it means to hit the mark, hit the bullseye, or conversely, to be hit by a bullet or fall into a trap. Actor or receiver, depending on the situation. Our first example is literally hit the target, hit home, 中地, 中地, such as when successfully refuting an argument with a forceful comeback. Another phrase, literally visually striking, 重看is used to describe something attractively put together, such as a food dish, or tastefully designed, such as clothing or home decoration. Now let's return, for a moment, to the characters for East and West. The Chinese translation for English thing or things derives from the fact that tools and things are typically stowed on the east and west sides of a village, giving us the term 东西. Notice that the second syllable is unstressed when it has this meaning, 东西. And, just as in English, people, animals, and objects can all be described as things, too, either admiringly or contemptuously, such as calling an object a cute little thing, or an awful person a despicable character. For lack of more precise vocabulary, I can only give an easy example with what we've learned so far. 东西不大, 东西不大. The thing's not very big. For those interested in directions beyond the basics, such as northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest, please note that they are read the opposite of English word order. Here is our color chart with today's 6 characters and their correct stroke order. 东 树 南 北 西 and 中. The following chart shows how these characters would appear in printed form. For those learning simplified characters, the simplified form for dong is also given. To fix the characters in your memory, copy them onto colored sheets of paper as suggested in previous videos: blue, green, pink, yellow, and white. Underline any homonyms, and circle those characters with more than one pronunciation. So, what have we learned in today's lesson? 1. According to author Shen Kai, Chinese villages were laid out on a specific plan with houses built with north behind, facing south, with tools and utensils for daily use stored on the west side, and goods for long-term storage kept on the east side. This explains why goods, or things, is translated as 东西. 2. The character for east, dong, is a bamboo basket bound at both ends for long-term storage. 3. As the sun rises in the east, dong is the most important of the 4 directions, and represented by the dragon in Chinese astrology. Dong, therefore, also refers to the host of a formal dinner, to the landlord of a building, and to the stockholders of a corporation, since they are the most important persons. 4. An ideogram similar to east is a bundle of firewood, also tied at both ends. 树, the character for to bind or tie together. 5. 束手 means that one's hands are tied and powerless to act. 树 is also the measure word for a bouquet of flowers. 6. The character for west is an open basket, 西, misconstrued as a bird's nest and thought to represent the direction of the setting sun, because birds return to their nests at dusk. 7. Dong and xi often appear together with verbs in expressions meaning here and there, left and right. 8. The character for south, nan, is a gong placed at the southern entrance to a village, where the inhabitants would be summoned in case of an emergency. To go down south is rendered as nan xia. 9. The character for north, bei, is a pictogram of two people back to back. Here, meaning that the usual situation for one's house is with the back toward north. To go up north is expressed as bei shang. 10. The center or middle in Chinese is zhong, the first name in the name for China, Zhongguo. It's a pictogram of a flag, such as the one the king's emissary would plant in the center of a village before announcing the latest edicts of the king. 11. Sino-Japanese is written zhong-yu. 12. To suspend, discontinue, or break off anything in progress is zhongzhi, literally to stop in the middle. 13. When zhong appears at the end of a phrase, it indicates something is currently in progress, similar in meaning to an English participle ending in ing. 14. When pronounced fourth tone, zhong, it refers to the bullseye of a target, meaning to hit the target, or become the target of someone else's actions. 种地 is literally hit the bullseye. 15. 中看 means something is pleasing to the eye, attractively arranged or prepared. 16. Characters indicating northeast, northwest, southwest, and southeast are turned around in Chinese. Now you will find a short quiz on double, triple character, and longer expressions. Answer using only the characters learned so far. Thank you for watching and listening.